Good morning. 819S today. 31 degrees with a high of 34. Another hot one. Normal summer day in Japan. And today, what I want to talk about is off-brand motorcycles. Off-brand is a really weird way to describe it, but non-major brand motorcycles. I'm in Japan, so the land of the big four, right? It's Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Yamaha. So if I wanted to buy a motorcycle, first on my list would be those four. It makes sense, I think. Maybe Harley, KTM, Ducati. There's a bunch of other brands that would probably be on that list also. They're not Japanese, but yeah, I think the major manufacturers are the ones that most people consider when they're out shopping for a motorcycle. And I was scrolling through the list of bikes that are available on Goo Bike. Not shopping because I don't have any money for it. Maybe a little inspiration or motivation to work a little bit harder and seeing what's out there and kind of judging the market a little bit, right? Honestly, what I'm thinking of is like a Grom or a Monkey 125, a Kawasaki Z125, Z125, something like that. I haven't decided because I don't have the money for it yet, but I decided to just kind of peek around and see what was out there. And I came across a few brands that are not so famous but seemed intriguing. I like off-road style bikes, so Fantic was one that came up. I've seen Fantic bikes a bunch of different places before, but I don't know anyone who personally owns one or has ridden one. So I'm not so sure about their build quality or maintenance schedules or things like that. Obviously, before I buy it, I can do a little research. There's got to be some information online, but yeah, that was one. And then looking around just the 125 category, there were, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 brands that I've never heard of before. For cruiser style bikes, I think there was Mutt Motorcycles out of the UK. There was Cleveland Motorcycles, I believe, out of Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, I was surprised because there were more non-major brand bikes available in Japan than I had expected. So I guess the question I'm thinking of is, it's not necessarily that I want to buy any of those bikes. It's just kind of a thought experiment more. But the question I'm thinking of is, would you buy a non-major brand bike like that? One thing I don't know about them is, do they make the engines themselves, or do they buy engines from a maker? Do they like buy Honda engines and then they just make the frame and everything else around the bike? Or, yeah, would you buy a non-major brand motorcycle? That's my question. Yeah, like I said, one concern is the engine itself. Is it going to be high quality? Is it going to require extra maintenance? Will it leak oil? Something like that. The other one is parts availability. If it's made by a major maker, parts may be available because it may be similar to an existing model. But if it's a one-off type thing, then maybe parts will be harder to come by. The other one is service in general. I guess that's related to parts. Are there people out there who have the service manuals, who know how to fix that bike? I think experienced mechanics can probably fix some things without a service manual, but I think having a service manual is always a better option. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few other questions going around my mind, but I'm wondering, would it be interesting to, instead of going for a Grom or something that everybody else has, to go with a Cleveland motorcycle instead, just to be kind of different or unique? Or is it safer to just stick with the known quantities? Yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Would you buy a minor brand motorcycle? And then I think, going off in the same direction, there are kind of brands that are in the middle. They're not minor brands that not many people have heard of, but they're not really major brands either. Something like Sherco or Gas or something like that. I think they are kind of major for what they do, but they're minor in the sense of overall motorcycling, right? I would probably buy a Sherco or a Gas or a bike like that, because I think that they have a long history. But for a brand like Mutt, I hesitant. Not saying it's bad quality, I just don't know enough about it. That's the bigger deal. Yeah. Anyways, if you have any experience with any minor brands, leave your comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you can, get out there and ride. Wait for the sun to go down a little, and wait for it to cool down a little, but always ride safe.